this is International Forum, diving into what is going on right now in Bangladesh. And after that, we'll dive into what is happening in the United Kingdom. With me here in the studio to talk about this, he is a legal practitioner, political affairs commentator. Join me to welcome Barrister Gabriel Ehigato. Barrister, welcome to International Forum. Appreciate your coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So very close to him is a clergyman, political affairs commentator, and of course political analyst. Join me to welcome Bishop Bright Olumese. Welcome to International Forum. Appreciate your coming.
We see you're welcome. Welcome back from vacation.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back.
Nigeria's at home.
Okay. Bangladesh right now, they're in a state of jubilation. No doubt about that. It started in the month of July, where the quota system for the civil service caused serious upheaval. But it's like Sheikh didn't handle it properly. And that led to youths, led to professionals, led to artisans coming out en masse to say enough is enough. Due to the high-handedness by the Prime Minister, they went out on the street protesting, demanding, one, for the change of the quota system, which metamorphosized into calling for the resignation of the Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina. So, Bishop, I really want you to take a look at what transpired in Bangladesh and what's your feeling so far about it?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wilson, and I want to say that what has happened in Bangladesh is a wake-up call for leaders all over the globe. The era of taking citizens for granted is gradually coming to an end. I think that is giving signal to people that government, that people, citizens are already aware and they know they cannot demand for good governance. You know, the protest, this protest was just self-induced by Hassan. You know, in 2028, this protest came up over the quota system of job. In 1972, when they got their independence, you know, there was this quota system allocated to freedom fighters. And, you know, the Hassan's family had benefited for this 30% quota for many years. And in 2018, there was really serious demand from the people, and they stepped aside the 30% quota job quota to the freedom fighters. You know, all of a sudden from nowhere, Hassan had gone to bring it up again. He called for it. So the protest started from the students. Before you know it metamorphosed. And where I thought that they were already gotten it right, you know, sometime 19th or whatever, the student had 48 hours cease of protests because the case was in Supreme Court. Okay, the Supreme Court didn't totally remove it. It reduced it to 5%, which didn't augur well with the students, and the protests continue. So to just now, what this is, the message this is sending across to our leaders is that we've come to that era where the citizens' rights must be respected.
Citizens' rights must be respected.
Otherwise, you pay the supreme price.
All right. Barrister Gabriel, you heard him.
Yes.
He said he was going to an extent where the world leaders should know that it is high time the citizens' rights were respected. For Bangladesh experience, was that truly enough for those students, artisans, professionals to go on rampage? After all, he did what he was asked to do.
Yes.
They went to court.
Yes.
The case was resolved. But still, they attacked his residence. He was chased out of Bangladesh. Right now, for what I'm hearing, he's in India on exile. Take it up from there.
Yes, the citizens have right to protest any place in the world. And the protest has been one of the ways, one of the methods citizens use in driving out their demand. But I think there's a misconception somewhere. First of all, we should look at what exactly, the dichotomy between protest and riot. Because over time, what we have is not protest. What we have over time is riot.
Riot?
Yeah, riot.
Could you please explain?
Yeah, and there's a big difference from it. Protest is a peaceful demonstration of people, citizens, to drive on their demand, to make a public opinion. That is protest. It is the most simplest formula anywhere in the world. And citizens have right to protest, to press on their demand, to make the government feel their impact, and yet to their yearnings and their aspiration. That is protest in the simplicity. But when we talk about a riot is a violent offense that is being carried out by one or two persons in order to beat against public order. And that's what we are having. We are not having protest. Take it from Bangladesh, take it from UK, take it to Nigeria. What we are having is no protest. We are having riot. People are offended. So we need to draw that dichotomy. We need to draw a difference between what we call protest and riot. I think that
but some may just say that whether you call it riot, they are protesting.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, because when a protester involves a violent act, it becomes riot. It's not about protest. And as such, the protester, the self-maintained protester, have lost their right of being heard. And that's what is happening all over the world. So what we are seeing is not protest. What we are seeing today is riot. That is by the wayside. Let's look at the issue in Bangladesh. The students are asking for social justice. The students are asking for that which belongs to them. The students are fighting for the rights, not just as students, but as citizens of the country. And that's what is happening. A quota system was formulated. A structure will be passed into law. In order to employ citizens, to employ youth, to employ students who are graduates. But such quota system has been tampered with. Such quota system have only benefited the few against the majority. Such quota system have only benefited the ethnicity. In fact, it has even increased the level of tribalism, the level of ethnicity in the nation. So they are fighting for is that we should go back to a quota system that's it to favor the citizen, whether for the minority or for the majority. So I don't think that the students are asking for so much. Let's even look at it. A protest that started as a peaceful demonstration among some number of students have increased to a national riot. I blame it on the government, who have refused to do the needful, have been issued from the beginning. Even before they went to court. Government need to learn to stop using state instruments to fight against public demand. It does not help any place in the world. In Lagos, government went to get a court order. And some people cannot protest. You can only protest in so and so place. There were designated centers where you can protest. It doesn't work that way. And that's what happened in Bangladesh. They even went to court. It's all dialoguing with the students. Before people go to the street to start exercising, their right by way of protest, which may, of course, later, disagree into riot. Government ought to draw a dialogue according to a round table. As how to resolve the issue, but instead they went to court. As we going to court, we even reduce, maintain the issues of ground. But it did not. It's escalated the more. So when the students started the protest, workers joined, their parents joined. Before you know it, almost all the citizens are started, because the issue of the quota system in regards to employment is just one aspect of disenfranchisement. We are not talking about every other. So what the students were actually fighting for was their sole right. People graduate from a university, and a large number of employment quota is being given to some certain people of ethnic group, and you are the rest. So where do you expect them to get their job from? And they are all citizens of the same nation. So I think that it's our time that government began to give attention to the people and to listen to their yearnings and aspirations. If not, what we are seeing It's just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, fine. Now, as it has happened, because right now, Sheikh Hassan is no longer in Bangladesh. He was chased out. His house or his residence turned into a banquet hall, so to speak. They are saying this is victory for the rights of the people. They are saying this is victory for democracy. They are saying this is victory for the Bangladesh citizens, and there is a lacuna. So I say this is just like, the downturn of the protest that turned into a riot, and the military, the khaki men or the khaki boys, want to enter into government to form an interim government and therefore peace to reign. And these same students are saying no to any form of military rule. How can one really allude to the demands of the students right now, Bishop?
Okay, yes. The Bangladesh situation is also drawing the attention of the protesters that they can drive home their demand to an extent. Coming into looking the Nigeria factor as well, you see some part of the nation where some persons were raising the Russia flag. I think that was a protest taken too far. Now they've created a problem, a lacuna. They cannot be, you cannot run a country without a government. Now, their prime minister is nowhere to be found. All government officials, they are all deserted. So what do? Then you don't give a creating room for the military to come form an interim government, and you don't want the military. Now there is a problem. So that's the reason why, number one, I have started by saying that this is a lesson for government all over the world. First of all, like Barrister had rightly said, that the Sheikh came in too late. He had allowed the thing to be tolerated. He has continually taken the people for ungranted, thinking that this is one of those protests.
Their natural death.
Yes, and now you discover that there was another school of thought that felt that there were opposition leaders that were engineering the protests, while the protests were subsidizing. Because if you watch the protests, during the protests, there were twice ceased protests. Then before you know it, it comes up again. Because just like we had protests a few days ago in Nigeria, some people believe that the president's speech didn't address the reason why people went on street. The same method we felt that Hassan had approached dealing with these issues. Instead of dialoguing with the students, he went to the court, and the people believe that this guy can manipulate
the system.
So, in other words, it is a wake-up call for both sides. You must have a government in place. If you had created a problem where there cannot be civil rule, the military will come in. Yes. So, in other words, the citizen must protest to that extent whereby protest is one way citizens call government attention to their demands.
All right.
So now, but the government also, one of the points Barrister was raising very powerfully, where protests become violent. Now you discover that at what point where it becomes violent, you discover that the government had a system to try to hijack protests, and the protester tried to resist that hijack, then peaceful protest becomes violent, and all of that. So it's a wake-up call for governments all over the globe. This idea of trying to sponsor thugs against peaceful protesters is not working again, and it's not going to work. You're going to, I want to commend some of the state commissioner of police, some of the state where you see, like in those states where have peaceful protests. Some of the places I monitor, I discover that you see the security agency and the people, you see that there was synergy. There's synergy and all of that. And that is what we should see.
Or you just want to join one of our analysts via Zoom, all the way from Ekboma, Ibrahim Momo, political and political affairs commentator. Ibrahim, how are you doing this afternoon? Welcome to International Forum.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon.
Watching, you've been listening. So what do you have to say about the lacuna right now in Bangladesh? Because military came up to say they want to form an interim government for peace to reign. But the same protesters, they are saying no to it. What do you have to say about this?
Well, a couple of things. One is to say that mind what you ask for. Sheikh Hasina won a fourth term, or a fifth term in January. But what led to this protest happened to be a quota, like you guys have already mentioned, a protest against a quota that favored the children of veterans. Eventually, the Supreme Court of Bangladesh abrogated or cancelled or reversed that quota system that was in place. Now, beyond the protests, beyond the issue of protest on quota system, in the course of the protest, over 300 protesters, mostly students, were said to have died during the protest. Were killed by armed forces. Now, what tipped the balance against Sheikh Hasina was the military. The students, protesters, were ultimately calling for the military to intervene. Because the reason why Sheikh Hasina resigned, was forced to flee, was not because she didn't win the election, but not because she was not willing to face the challenge. It was because the military stepped in. As happened in Egypt, I started by saying, watch what we ask for. What happened in this instance was the fact that the military asked her to resign. And then, of course, there's a vacuum. Nature abhors vacuum. And what we are hearing now is that the students are asking that nature abhors vacuum. And the tipping point, or what tipped the balance against Sheikh Hasina, the now ousted prime minister, was the military. And of course, the military now wants to form an interim government. Again, the students are saying no. That in fact, they are pushing that former a Nobel laureate and the founder of Grameen Bank, the precursor to microfinance bank all over the world, Muhammad Yunus, should be. It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen that way. So clearly, Bangladesh is a stalemate. What it means is that they may have won the victory, but they have lost the war. They may have won the fight, if I may. They have won the fight, but they have lost the war. Because from my background as a political scientist, I would say that the worst form of civil rule is better than the quote-unquote best form of military rule. Because in principle, democracy ensures the right of the people to elect their leaders. But what is critical in this context? It's not even whether Sheikh Hasina was, it's not democracy per se. It's the rise of international protest movements. What we are seeing all over the world is the rise of protest movements. And like you mentioned, even in the UK, as we speak, there are riots. The question to ask, really, is why do we have these riots? In Bangladesh, it was originally because of quota that was introduced by the government to favor children of veterans. The Supreme Court of Bangladesh has removed that quota, but it has not in any way led to a cessation of the protests. So we are saying that it is one thing to agitate. It's another thing to see the full implication of that agitation. The implication of fighting, agitating for an end to quota system is that now Bangladesh is not going to be ruled, at least in the interim, by military rule. That is something that should worry Democrats all over the world. Because what the people fought for was for freedoms, was for rights, and not for a rollback or cessation of those rights, which the military is clearly going to be, because the greatest right people can have within the state is the right to vote, to choose their leaders.
Okay, now you just hold on. I will come back to you, Ibrahim. Well, you've heard him. They are saying no to military rule. Like what he said they've won the battle, so to speak. But he said they have lost the war. Because the only person that really made the prime minister to flee the country was because of the presence of the military. Now they are saying for peace to reign, there must be a military interim rule. And the same persons are saying no. In governance, should there be a vacuum? And they are saying that they want so much, like they want to impose on the country someone they feel could lead them. Is that how it's done, democratically speaking?
Well, you can eat your cake and have it. It is a give or take situation here. They do not want the military. There will be various articles, even as protest is ongoing, various articles against the military rule. They do not want the military at all. They do not even see the military government as an alternative to whatever is happening in Bangladesh. They want a person who will represent the interest of the people. But it's unfortunate now that there cannot be any election if that person can be voted for and will come into power. There's no such. It's not an election era. But these are what the people want. These are their demands. And then to again drive home the demand and to show to us clearly that the government have failed. The government have failed. I think the prime minister should come back from his, the SIA went to. And they have even resigned.
They don't want to see him resign out of the country right now in the situation.
So if he has not resigned, that would have been a different scenario. That's okay. Let's come to a dialogue. Let's go to a round table. Let's resolve our issues. What are your demands as protesters or as rioters, as the case may be? Oh, these are our demands. This is what the government can give. It's a give or take situation. But now, the prime minister is running away for his own life. And the situation, the country is being put in a very deep, tough situation. They do not want the military. And government is all about continuity. So the citizens have to choose. They have to decide where they will belong. They have to see, are you going to bring back the military? You know, just to rule for a while. In order, because the reason is because they do not also trust the military. They don't believe that if the military should take over governance in Bangladesh, then that for 3 months or 6 months, the case will be, then we have never power back to a democratic government. So the people have also lost trust in the military. And they are not interested in that at all. So, be that as it may, every other government officials with a clean character is the only person the people want to listen to. And if you look at it, a large number of government officials, political office holders, they've even run away for their life. So what we have are just few in the lower cadet. I think those people can also come up to see how to dialogue with people. Because the only way to counter this whole situation is dialogue.
It's dialogue. But right now there is a lacuna, a huge lacuna. Everyone is on the run. The only set of persons that really want to broker peace, they say they don't want them. That they want to impose on themselves a leader. Is that how democracy works?
No. Just like we have rightly said, you cannot eat your cake
and have it
back. But I think the stage where Bangladesh is now, the international community needs to mediate. And what that's supposed to mean is that, number one, the people cannot trust the military. Because whether the people virtually like it or not, we only have not heard the leader of the interim government. There is already an interim government. There is no lacuna. Somebody is already taking responsibility. It's only that the people just don't want to hear. So right now, the international community, we are calling the international community to mediate within the people.
Hold on, you talk about international community. We're not the one that caused the rise in the first place.
They may not have caused the rise.
We're the one that started the protests.
Yes, we're looking for a way out right now.
Yeah,
exactly.
We're looking for a way out. This is a problem. There has to be a solution. And all of that. The international community had to come in form of a guarantor that this interim government will not have more than 6 months at it where. Then the student will now say, no, 3 months. we'll go back home. We'll stay off the street. Within 3 months, an election is not conducted for a new prime minister, will hit the street back. Anything short of that will be heading to more crisis. More people will die. And this is a call that the government must take responsibility. We cannot deal with faceless protesters. Recent time now, you see that people are allowed to hit the streets without leaders. Why? Because government had always used instrument of state to fight perceived leaders of peaceful protesters. Government at all levels should heed to this warning. The aftermath of allowing faceless protesters, no leader, is that the president can run. It will get to that extent. That's where Bangladesh has found themselves.
All right.
The almighty Sheikh. And that is why I was telling somebody today, the greatest crime of any nation is not the man who stole the money of the treasury. It's the man who ring an election. And all of that. If this man is not popular, I begin to wonder, I thought he's so popular. The way he had been, over any election, he wins. So it means that I begin to question the electoral
But the thing is that
process.
there have been in love with him until this issue of quota came up. That was what really brought the comments back.
the love,
They couldn't take it anymore. Say that, look,
News
this is like opening our eyes wide open and pouring salt on it. We can't take it. But as it stands right now, they are in a state of dilemma. The Kaki boys that really want to broker peace, they've been rejected already. As it stands right now, if they don't come in to conduct the election, there is already a vacuum. How will they go from here? That'll be a question for our day. Let's move straight down to what is happening right now in the UK. Yes. In the UK, there is still, okay, call it riots because it has gone beyond protests. Now, riots in the UK where protesters are fighting against police, saying that the government of the day should do more. They call themselves the Patriots. Ibrahim, over now to you. What do you feel about the situation in the United Kingdom where, is it 5 points were raised that the government should look into, saying that if they don't see to it, they are not going to stop protesting. Over now to you. The UK situation. Mute yourself. You should unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll say that what's happening in the UK is a shame because it signposts a rise in nationalist famine, nationalist, movements, a rollback of the globalization that the West has initiated, promoted, and grown. What happened was that a UK citizen stabbed to death 3 young ladies, 6 years, 7 years, and 9 years. And then the rumor mill went ablaze. One, through social media, there was the first claim that the person was a Muslim. Secondly, another rumor came through social media too, that he was even an immigrant seeking asylum. And then there have been riots, attacks on religious places aligned to the Muslims, and even maiming and attack at persons. And all of this was built on a lie. Because it has often, and we have to be careful too, because even the mainstream media, the BBC was accused, even in stating the identity of the person, that he is a UK citizen, was born in the UK, they went on to add that the individual, the young man, was of Rwandan origin. That is a dangerous descent. The question is, what was it about, first of all, claiming that individual was from a Muslim and an asylum seeker? And then even mainstream, they're not saying that even though it's not a Muslim, but it's from Rwandan origin, it is still buying into the anti-immigration, pro-nationalist sentiment that is now ravaging the West. The West, in trying to promote trade, in trying to promote their domineering agenda, colonization, neo-colonization, and then global trade, push for globalization. That same West is now doing a rollback. You see that in the French election that just occurred about a month ago, and I'm sure you discussed on the program. One of the things that happened was that there had to be a coalition to stop the far-right nationalists, Marine Le Pen's party. In Britain today, the Conservative Party ruled for 13 years. Conservatives are known to be far-right also. They are anti-immigration, anti-social welfare, just everything that benefits the hopaloi, the common man, or immigrants, poor immigrants, the Conservative Party against it. And on the back of the protests that have been happening about, the support for Israel in Palestine, the Conservative Party lost fantastically. They lost massively to the Labour Party. Just 1 month into the Labour Party's reign, we are seeing these far-right, nationalist-driven attacks. I think someone said that it's a baptism of fire for the new Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. But the reality is that there is a deeper challenge, two deep challenges. One is the very, very deleterious effects of nationalism in the modern era. And secondly, the negativity. With all the good things that social media does, there is a huge negativity. The fact that it can be used to perpetrate a lot of crimes, spread falsehood, and do a lot of harm to their Commonwealth.
Okay.
This for me is a challenge.
Okay.
We are saying
that for you is a challenge.
All right, you just hold on now. Now, he raised 2 points saying that what only transpired in the UK is like a show of shame because the rioters based their information on what they got from the social media, saying for them to point the finger at, a quote right now, a Muslim, and of course, saying that he's an immigrant from Rwanda. You know that Rwanda case has been on for quite a while right now, that is not true. What do you feel about the situation?
Well, I think at this level, there needs to be a high level of investigation. Because at the beginning, when you look at how the death of that young man started, down to the protest and all of that, the investigation is not clear. The investigation is not clear. I don't want to even go further to see a sign of racism in this, because the question is, if the person who died was actually of Indian origin, will there be so much silence about it? That it is not even the commoner, the people that are not fighting for the interest to say, I want this matter to be investigated. Let actually know what happened and what actually led to this death and all of that. So it's unfortunate, really very painful, sardonic, that the Britain, a nation that seems to be a role model to all our colonies, and that find itself in this kind of mess. So it shows there's a high level of racism in the UK that has not been wiped out, with all the level of development, all the level of technology, all the level of exposure, and all of that. Such thing as it happened in a place like the United Kingdom, and government have not also made any statement categorically about the incident. All government were interested in the protest. This take us back to what we...
But also they investigated.
No, this take us back to what we have been saying. When issues happened, we expect that those that are in the helm of government to go into it as fast as possible at the slightest opportunity from the beginning, and go into it and see what exactly was the cost of this action. But whether the government stay back and take the back seat, then the citizen with their anger calls up, form a protest, which eventually become a riot. The United government say, hey, these are the bad citizens that we have. There was no, emergency response at the quickest time from the UK government. And that is why we are having this problem now.
All right. Well, he mentioned politics, that there is a deep-seated politics in all of this. Don't forget about the Conservative and, of course, the Labour Party. Don't forget about the Rwanda deportation bill that was cancelled since Tama came into power. And right now they are saying, amongst their demand, reduce the number of legal, not illegal, legal immigrants that should be entering the UK. Bishop, what do you feel about this demand?
Yeah, like I had said earlier, government at all levels, there's a wake-up call. The level of awareness of citizens is becoming very high. So the high time government begin to take proactive measures. This UK situation really uncalled for. To be honest, you could see that, okay, first of all, you
said it's a call for 3 persons lost their life due to multiple stabs.
I'm talking about,
and that wasn't the first time it happened in the UK.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you. Let me take it to the, okay, somebody had committed a crime. Now, why would people go out there to vent their anger? Because they could discover that government response were really not there. And that's why you discover which facility are they attacking? Police stations. So in other words, these are people who had responsibility. So this issue, the people, there's what we call public sentiment came in because we followed up when that attack came up. Yeah. And we were wishing to see breaking news. Response, there was nothing. And this is not just one, it's one among many. And the people begins to, and the next thing, Facebook created a situation and gave a response. And the people now feel, okay, maybe this is the reason why government is not responding. And the people came out. And now the people are out. The quickest thing to do is to create a dialogue. It's taking too long.
Are you not blaming the government for what is happening in the UK?
The government should create a dialogue. A dialogue. Yes, we just have a shift right now politically. People can want to say it's politically motivated. Please, no, first of all, let somebody take responsibility. That's why there is a government.
All right.
For the wanton destructions of properties, and even it's going to lead to killing of people and all of that, let the government in power take responsibility.
Okay. The government in power taking responsibility. As you can see, our time is almost up. So, Ibrahim, if you're still there, you're going to give us your last line on this particular discussion, advice to citizens and, of course, the government of the day. Streaming from what is happening or what has happened or still going in Bangladesh and the United Kingdom. Over now to you. Briefly, please.
Yeah, very quickly, I'd like to say that first and foremost, people ought to be careful what they wish for. Yes, things are bad. Does it get better when you make it worse? The answer is no. Making things worse. When you have in all the protest movements that we have seen, whether it's in Bangladesh and UK, as we have highlighted in the course of this program, or even in Nigeria, what you are seeing is that the protests have made things worse, not better. It means that protesters, particularly student youth protesters, must ensure that they find a way to convert their disenchantment with the system into productive and effective ways of making changes. We have not seen any change. If you remove a duly elected Sheikh Hasina as prime minister, and the result is that the military, who were not elected, are those who become the heads of state in interim, that cannot be a good thing. If, because of rumor or the anti-immigration ferment, people are spreading rumors through social media, and as a result of that, they are now attacking people innocent people, innocent citizens of the UK, because of tribalism, nationalism, or anti-immigration sentiment, it's not something we should encourage. And I feel even in Nigeria, the destruction of public property has been a sore point in the current protest. So I'm saying that my last line would be that let us always be careful. In protesting, we must ensure that we don't make an already bad situation worse. We should find ways to make it effective and efficient.
Thank you so much, Ibrahim Momo, for your wonderful analysis, and thank you so much for joining us via Zoom all the way from Mekpoma. Barrister, please, less than 1 minute, your advice.
Yes, government must learn to take responsibility. Government must learn to take action. Government must learn to respond to issue at the earliest possible time. And government must see, to listen to the yearnings of the people. But then you have a government who is resilient against the people, a government who is anti-people. Then you have a people who is anti-government.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister. Bishop, briefly.
Government should stop the arrest of protesters' leaders if they don't want to taste the strength of faceless protesters. The cost is becoming too much. So government should stop it so that they can have somebody to call for accountability. Somebody can call the people out and somebody can still tell them it's okay.
All right.
And that's the way to go.
Thank you so much, Bishop. I appreciate your wonderful analysis. And of course, Barrister Gabriel Higato, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Don't forget to mention Ibrahim Momo, all the way from Mekpoma. I really appreciate you finding out time to join us. You are highly appreciated, all of you, even the viewers. Well, you've seen the situation. We are protesting, you are rioting. Is it better to make a bad situation worse? Right now, they stand in Bangladesh. The president came to settle quarrel. They say they don't want the person. They don't want the military rule. But they want trying to quell the situation. Bad to worse. In the UK right now, it's all a game of finger, pointing accusing finger at a particular religion, tribe, ethnicity, you just name it. And that's not what we want. But everything boils down to the government of the day. Know what the citizens need for time and act swiftly to curtail any form of protest that, if not controlled, may lead to riots. Gentlemen, thank you once more. We'll see you next week, Tuesday, God willing. Bye for now.